Your path to freedom from this cage you've been living in of repeating the same cycles of negativity and toxicity, and pulling people in that bring about hurt and the most awful emotions they trigger within you from the experiences you encounter with them. Your freedom comes when you can understand that all these people that come into your world, call it karmic, interactions. And this is really how I look at things now that have helped me be able to make peace with all of it. Karma, it is an energy. It is our energy, our inner state of where our energy is sitting, right? The frequency that we each sit in. So, depending on where we sit, we are sitting within ourselves. It's that boomerang magnet kind of pull toward us, and what we get pulled toward, it's a reflection of our inner state of being, right? So karma is energy. It does not discriminate from good, bad, right or wrong, none of that. There's no judgment on energy. Energy just radiates towards what it matches, So when we sit there questioning why these experiences keep cycling back into our world, even if the faces change, even if the display of what it looks like changes, the energy undertone keeps cycling back into our world. That is because it's your inner state of being, where you are sitting at, that is pulling this into your world. And it becomes such a gift, Oh, that glare's so bright. It becomes such a gift to realize this, because it is a trigger within each experience, almost like we are there to help each other grow, because we are meant to actually be able to stop looking outside of ourselves and pointing the finger at others and saying, you hurt me, you're bringing me pain, you're bringing me chaos. It is not them. We are meant to trigger each other into this self-realization, to go within and look at ourselves and see what kind of internal dialogue is taking place within us, what kind of thoughts play in our mind that are generating either negative emotion or feel-good emotion, and what I found too, this is where I have taken my power back, by being able to go within and go almost like into hermit mode at times. And every time I do, I know I am shifting, because I know I am questioning myself, and I am starting to work through stuff. And how I do that, I will start to invest my energy into things that bring me feelings of goodness. Like for me, I love art, I love nature, I love walking in the mountains, I love the beach, like just the water is so cleansing, just being in that natural scenery, it's so nourishing to our soul, because it is our natural state. It's just stillness, it's the now, everything is just as it's meant to be. There's no chaos, there's no overthinking, there's no past, there's no future. It's just now. And this is such a calming vibration to sit in. It is our natural state, how we should be. Our minds shouldn't be ticking over and over again all the time. So when I do stuff like that, or even writing, even when I find myself writing that, it gets me out of my mind and it puts it all down on paper, so I can make sense of where I'm at, Gym, I love the gym, I love training. When I'm doing that, I'm focusing on the task at hand, that it stops my mind from generating these busy thoughts that all too often we are sitting in this state of chaotic thinking, overthinking everything, and it generates really negative emotion within us. It causes stress, and stress, it wreaks so much havoc in our lives and on our physical body as well. So this is how I do these things to escape that. And while I'm doing it and investing in these things that make me feel good, I'm also learning about what it means to sit in a state of contentment. This is what it taught me. It taught me what contentment means. It taught me what peace means. You know, because sometimes when we allow ourselves to constantly be in the company of others, we end up mimicking our surroundings. So people who, you know, if you find yourself around people who, you know, bitch a lot and, you know, always focusing on the negativity in their world and the stresses and what that person did to me, what that person did to me, what this experience brought me in a negative way, people who are constantly talking like this, it rubs off on you. And then you start thinking and looking at the dynamics playing out around you, you start thinking about that stuff in that same negative way, and it generates an energy frequency that is so negative that gets sent out into the world, and you'll constantly start looking at every little bad, you know, like even the smallest thing will get emphasized. It gets dramatized, and your life becomes full of drama. So, I am very comfortable in my own energy, because I think, you know, when we are somebody who has lived a life where we've always been a little bit, you know, different in our way of, you know, interacting with others, you trigger a lot of people. I like to call it authenticity, because to some degree I think I've always known that I didn't agree with a lot of the cliques and, you know, stuff like this. Even when I was younger, never ever did I feel that I wanted to actually like be like that group or that group. I always had my own stance in my inner self that I was like, no, I'm not like them, you know. And it's not to say that we're not connected and all connected. I do believe this completely, but a lot of people will conform to the way that, you know, the majority of others are going, and I've never ever felt comfortable doing that. So, but I would shut down and go quiet within myself and just take it in, you know. And you know, we trigger people when we are living with authenticity, that we know that we are different. It can actually, over time, if you don't learn who you are, it can break you down to make you feel so small, and it stops all your potential for what path you are meant to walk in this life. Because instead of feeling like, no, they're just not, that dynamic just isn't for me, you start to think there's something wrong with you, you know. And especially too when you've been living so many of the same repetitive experiences that are bringing these, you know, negative flows of energy into your world, you question yourself. And it's a good thing though. This is the blessing that comes for you when you can start to question yourself and go, is it me? And yes, it is. It is you. But it's not that you are deserving of it at all. It's that you have gotten so used to this dynamic for yourself that it's all you know, it's all you're familiar with. So what you need to do is get to this place of being comfortable in your own self and sitting in your own energy and learning about what makes you feel good, what brings you peace, healthy experiences that you can put yourself into that are going to generate feel good, you know, emotions within you. So then when you go out into the world and you're interacting with others, you will be able to understand what that feeling is of contentment. So anything that doesn't match that, you'll be able to turn away from and say, no, 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 no. This is that same dynamic that I used to live all the time. This is that same vibration of confusion, of doubt, of, you know, of hurt, of pain, whatever it is, of toxicity. You will know it because it's something you've experienced over and over again. But here's the key, right? You've also taught yourself what the feeling of contentment and peace, inner peace, feels like by finding those little things that spark joy within you and that just bring enjoyment into your world. So that vibration can be felt even in the interaction with other people. You just need to understand what that feels like, because a lot of people go toward, you know, things that will give them like almost like a band-aid effect, and a lot of people go for toxic vices, you know, that they can numb out looking at themselves, taking accountability for where the inner state of being is actually at. And when we avoid ourselves, we are actually avoiding life, our quality of life. So I hope that makes sense, because you know, it is the most beautiful feeling to understand how much power and you have within you to redirect your life. And that is what I want to offer, because this is what I have found for myself. And even if one person takes it, it makes me feel so fulfilled within. This is what life is about for me.